And let's begin with the update that came in late last night. Eknath Shinde, the senior Shiv Sena leader who's fueling this rebellion, has moved along with all the other rebel MLAs to Guwahati. The rebels have landed now in Guwahati in Assam. Remember, they were based in Surat before this. Shinde said that we have not left Balasaheb Thackeray's Shiv Sena and will not leave it. We've been following Balasaheb's Hindutva and we will carry it further. So the fact that you've got Eknath Shinde time and again making a reference to Balasaheb Thackeray and not Uddhav Thackeray clearly shows where he stands. Shinde claims to have the support of 35 Sena MLAs as well as 12 independent MLAs who are with smaller parties. That's a sizable number. In all, he's claiming the support of, in fact, 35 Shiv Sena MLAs and 12 other MLAs. So 47 MLAs he claims to have the support of. That's a big, big number. Eknath Shinde maintaining that we haven't left the Shiv Sena, we're only carrying forward Balasaheb Thackeray's Hindutva agenda.
विधायक जो है उन्होंने बालासाहब का हिंदुत्व जो है उसका स्वीकार किया है वही भूमिका हम लोग आगे लेके जा रहे हैं. सत्तेसाठी असो वा राजकारणासाठी असो हिंदुत्व जे बाळासाहेबांचं आहे एक कडवट हिंदुत्व ही भूमिका आम्ही सर्वजण पुढे घेऊन जातोय. आम्ही सर्व बाळासाहेबांचे कट्टर शिवसैनिक आहोत. आम्ही शिवसेना सोडलेली नाही, शिवसेना सोडणार नाही. शिवसेना के 40 MLAs अभी यहाँ मौजूद है और सभी लोग जो है हम बालासाहब ठाकरे जी का जो हिंदुत्व है इस और उनकी जो भूमिका है उसको हम लोग आगे ले जाना चाहते हैं.
So that's the statement that's coming from Eknath Shinde, where he maintains that we are not rebelling against the Shiv Sena's ideology, but very clear message that he's taking on directly Uddhav Thackeray. The Shiv Sena has of course been sending across emissaries trying to reach out to Eknath Shinde. It hasn't worked so far in cutting the ice. Shinde claims that he has the support of 35 Shiv Sena MLAs and 12 other MLAs. These are independents as well as MLAs from smaller parties. That's a large number, a huge chunk of legislators which will benefit the BJP if they're in fact siding with the BJP. But no doubt what's going to set off tongues wagging is that from one BJP ruled state, they've moved to another. From Surat in Gujarat, these MLAs have flown late last night to Guwahati in Assam, and they're being put up now in a resort there as well. And this is big breaking news that's coming in. Eknath Shinde refusing to get into any sort of conversation, any sort of dialogue with Uddhav Thackeray right now. In such a circumstance, what are the chances of the Maha Aghadi surviving? And especially with Eknath Shinde claiming that he doesn't just have the support of a handful of Shiv Sena MLAs, he claims he has the support of 35 Shiv Sena MLAs and 12 other MLAs. These are independents as well as MLAs from smaller parties. A number that will greatly benefit the BJP if Eknath Shinde decides that that's his next course of action. Uddhav Thackeray has made it very clear that he will not tie up with the BJP. There was an ultimatum that reportedly Shinde communicated to Uddhav Thackeray saying that you must join hands with the BJP if you want me and all of the other MLAs of Revolt to come back. Uddhav Thackeray has rejected that particular proposal and that ultimatum. So that's where the Shiv Sena's drawn the line. They're saying that we'll do whatever it takes to get back our MLAs to ensure that we have the numbers to remain in power. But no matter what, Shiv Sena and Uddhav Thackeray at this point at least have made it clear that they will not give in to Shinde's ultimatum of joining hands with the BJP. India Today is keeping you ahead on all the big updates that are coming in on this story, with all the MLAs now being shifted to Guwahati, another BJP-ruled state. It's going to, of course, set off endless speculation on what exactly the BJP's hand is here. What exactly is the BJP's role? The fact that Eknath Shinde, someone who's an extremely senior Shiv Sena minister, Shiv Sena leader, has chosen to lead this rebellion is also, of course, leading to endless talk about the Shiv Sena not having its camp in order, and the fact that nearly 35 MLAs, according to Eknath Shinde, are with him.
नहीं कुछ नहीं, हम तो शिवसैनिक है भाई. कितने लोग कंधे आपको मालूम पड़ जाएगा कुछ समय में।
आपका संख्या तो बता दीजिए। कितने लोग हैं?
नहीं कुछ नहीं, हम तो शिव सैनिक है भाई।
कितने लोग?
संदेश आपको मालूम पड़ जाएगा कुछ समय में।
आपका संख्या तो बता दीजिए।
So the MLAs accompanying Eknath Shinde, they're not really willing to disclose any details of exactly what their plan is going forward. So we will in fact track the latest updates. Eknath Shinde, speaking to the media there, has maintained that he has 40 plus MLAs with him, and that is the kind of support that he's enjoying right now. And it's clear that he staged this entire rebellion without any hint going across to the Shiv Sena leadership. Now, according to Shinde, there are several independent MLAs as well as MLAs from smaller parties who are also with him. Now, if this number holds true, if he does have in fact 40 plus MLAs with him, that will mean that the Maha Aghadi now is in minority. What will Uddhav Thackeray do next is a big question mark. At this point, the Shiv Sena has been trying to reach out to Eknath Shinde. It hasn't worked.
ये सूत्रों के मार्फत ही बातें सामने आ रही हैं और जो गतिविधियां हो रही हैं होटल के बाहर सुरक्षा व्यवस्था की, उसके माध्यम से हम बता पा रहे हैं। खुलकर ऑफिशियली आधिकारिक तौर पर इस बारे में कोई कुछ नहीं बोल रहा है। तो जहां तक ज्यादातर संभावना है रेडिसन ब्लू जो होटल है वहां पर इनको ले जाया जा रहा है। सुबह हालांकि वहां पर कोई भी सुरक्षा व्यवस्था नहीं थी, लेकिन नाम सामने आ रहा था कल देर रात से ही, और आज थोड़ी देर पहले से इस होटल में, और इसके अलावा एक और होटल है वो भी 5 सितारा होटल है, उसका भी नाम सामने आ रहा है। तो वहां इन दोनों होटलों में थोड़ी सी सुरक्षा व्यवस्था का इंतजाम देखा गया। तो ऐसे में संभवतः इस एक होटल में इनको ले जाया जाएगा, इन दोनों में से एक होटल में, और वहां पर रखा जाएगा। फिलहाल ये 90% तक सूत्रों का हवाला देकर कहा जा सकता है कि वहां ले जाया जा रहा है, लेकिन हो सकता है इसमें फेरबदल भी हो, जो अभी थोड़ी देर में हमें पता चल पाएगा, क्योंकि अब और आधा घंटा ज्यादा से ज्यादा लगेगा इनको गुवाहाटी पहुंचने में।
So our reporters are on the ground. They're tracking closely the movement of these MLAs as they make their way through the streets of Guwahati. In all likelihood, will be based in a resort in the city as well. So from Surat, they've moved now to Guwahati, and they've shifted base to another BJP-ruled state, which by itself will lead to endless speculation that this is a fallout of Operation Kamla being led by the BJP. So far, the Bharatiya Janata Party has dismissed any role.
देखने को है, बहुत अच्छा है।
आप लोग कितने लोग आप लोग? 35 लोग हैं आप लोग। 35 लोग आप लोग।
हम घूमने आए।
कितने लोग आए? हेलो,
40।
एक जन 35 आप लोग। अच्छा, यहाँ पर गुवाहाटी में किस लिए आए हैं? गुवाहाटी में किस लिए आए हैं? घूमने हैं। अच्छा, गुवाहाटी, सूरत से गुवाहाटी क्यों घूमने आए हैं?
घूमने के लिए।
सूरत से इतनी दूर क्यों?
घूमने के लिए।
इतनी दूर क्यों?
अरे घूमने के लिए।
कितने लोग हैं? कितने लोग हैं आप लोग? कितने लोग हैं आप लोग? कितने लोग हैं आप लोग? कितने लोग हैं? 40 लोग हैं। कब तक रहेंगे? कुछ बताया गया आप लोगों को? कब तक यहाँ रहेंगे? हाँ? आप लोग यहाँ पर कितने दिनों तक रहेंगे? क्या और भी लोग आने की संभावना है? में लगा है, और इसके बीच में जो धुरी है, जो केंद्र हैं, वो हैं एकनाथ शिंदे और उनके साथ जो विधायक हैं। अब उनको वो अंततः किसके साथ जाते हैं? क्या वो वापस शिवसेना में लौटते हैं मान मनव्वल के बाद, या फिर वो अपना जो रुख जिस तरीका का वो दिखा रहे हैं वो बीजेपी से मिलते हैं? ये आने वाले कुछ घंटों या दिनों में तय हो जाएगा।
Mishra is reporting there for us here on India Today. He's tracking Eknath Shinde's vehicle as well as all the other rebels. You saw also how we tried to speak to some of these rebel MLAs. One of them did confirm that they're from the Shiv Sena. The others more or less laughed it off, refusing to make any sort of clear-cut comment, saying that we're here to travel, we're here on a tourist visit. So they're not really giving any details of exactly what their strategy is, what their plan is, It's very clear, however, that they are being led by Eknath Shinde. And Eknath Shinde, speaking to the media there, said he has the support of 40 MLAs. Sources to us here on India Today suggest that number could even go up to 47.
सभी लोग जो है हम बालासाहेब ठाकरे जी का जो हिंदुत्व है
वो गुवाहाटी एयरपोर्ट पहुंची। गुवाहाटी एयरपोर्ट पर 3 बसें, एसी बसें लगाई गई थी, साथ में सुरक्षा व्यवस्था थी इनको होटल तक ले जाने के लिए। ये वहां पहुंचे, बस में बैठे और फिलहाल ये होटल की ओर जा रहे हैं। अब गुवाहाटी ही क्यों लाया गया, इस सवाल का खुलकर कोई जवाब नहीं दे रहा है। विधायकों से हमने बात की, वो कह रहे हैं घूमने आए हैं, लेकिन अभी के अगर हालात आपको बताएं तो पूरे असम में बाढ़ होकर रखी है। गुवाहाटी से आप 40-50 किलोमीटर दूर किसी भी जगह चले जाएं, आपको बाढ़ मिलेगी। घूमने का ये समय नहीं है। घूमने की जो जगह है, काजीरंगा बंद पड़ा हुआ है, बगल में शिलोंग है, खूबसूरत जगह है, लेकिन वहां लैंडस्लाइड हो रही है। तो ये जो समय काल है, ये घूमने का समय काल नहीं होता है। तो इससे एक बात तो साफ है कि गुवाहाटी ये घूमने नहीं आए हैं। तो गुवाहाटी इतनी दूर क्यों आए हैं, उसकी जो वजह अभी तक हमें पता चल रही है वो यही है कि अगर वो सूरत में रहते तो उद्धव सरकार ठाकरे के लिए और उद्धव सरकार के लिए या फिर कांग्रेस के लिए या उनके हितैषियों के लिए काफी संभव होता कि इनको वापस मान मनोबल किया जाए, इनसे संपर्क जोड़ा जाए, इनको वापस लाने की कोशिश काफी सुलभ हो सकती थी। लेकिन चूंकि ये दूरी बहुत ज्यादा हो चुकी है, भाषा बदल चुकी है, क्षेत्र बदल चुका है, पहनावा बदल चुका है, यहां पर ये जो कोशिश होगी इनको वापस लाने की वो उतनी सुलभ नहीं हो पाएगी। संभवतः इसी वजह से ये सूरत से गुवाहाटी, जो भारत के दूसरे 2 कोने हैं, वहां पर लाया गया है ताकि इनको सुरक्षित रखा जा सके और एक जो खेमेबंदी तैयार हुई है उसको बरकरार रखकर और एक नई सरकार का गठन हो। ये भी एक प्रक्रिया का हिस्सा, रणनीति का हिस्सा होता है। ये फिलहाल हमें समझ में आ रहा है।
Anupam Mishra is tracking all the live updates there as he tracks Eknath Shinde's vehicle. Shinde making that big claim that he has the support of 40 MLAs, and that is a huge claim there. He's saying that these aren't just Shiv Sena MLAs with him, but he's also got the support of MLAs from smaller parties as well as independents. These MLAs are currently on their way to a hotel in Guwahati. Extremely tight-lipped right now on exactly where they are headed. Every rebel MLA that we've spoken to has refused to divulge exactly what they are up to, what their strategy is. But you see that image on the left of your screen, the image that could perhaps lead to endless problems for Uddhav Thackeray. The number there is something that we will highlight as well, because right now Eknath Shinde is claiming that he has 40 MLAs with him. Is that number going to go up? Will it come down, considering that Uddhav Thackeray is doing everything it takes right now to try and reach out to all of his MLAs, his legislators, get them back into his side? It essentially comes down to the numbers game, and Uddhav Thackeray is trying hard to stay afloat right now, and that's why he's reaching out to every single legislator out there. Now, the question is, of course, about these MLAs. What happens if they choose to resign? It's not going to immediately switch over to the BJP's favor. They have to get elected back in by-poll. So there will be a big question mark on that. But right now, if in fact these MLAs choose to in fact resign, choose to take that step, it means the end for Uddhav Thackeray. It means more or less that the Shiv Sena has lost all control right now of these legislators. Eknath Shinde moving his MLAs, the ones who are supporting him right now, from Gujarat to Assam. The BJP, of course, has been watching from the sidelines, smirking and saying this is the beginning of the end for the Uddhav Sarkar. But at this point, the BJP maintains we have no hand in this, that this is not a result or a fallout of Operation Kamla. There will be questions about that, because from one BJP-ruled state, Eknath Shinde and all of these MLAs have moved to another BJP-ruled state.
8 दिन यहाँ पे 8 दिन और उसके बाद मुंबई में क्या राज्यपाल के पास सीधे? हाँ सीधा राज्यपाल के पास 8 दिन यहाँ पे 8 दिन और उसके बाद मुंबई में क्या राज्यपाल के पास सीधे? हाँ सीधा राज्यपाल के पास।
Okay, so we're going to be getting you all the updates of what's been happening through the night. Endless drama that's played out. And trust us here on India Today to get you all the updates that's happened overnight. In Maharashtra right now, there's been endless political lobbying and parlaying happening to try and reach out to these legislators. But it clearly hasn't worked. Let's cut across to a live report.
उस होटल में इन बागी विधायकों को रखा गया है भारी सुरक्षा व्यवस्था के साथ। सैकड़ों की तादाद में सुरक्षाकर्मी इस होटल के आसपास इस वक्त पहरे पर हैं। तो आप समझ सकती हैं कि किस तरीके से सुरक्षित रखने का जो यहां पर तरीका हमें देखने को मिल रहा है, उससे एक अंदाजा लगाया जा सकता है कि एक बात बिल्कुल साफ है कि गुवाहाटी लाने की वजह यही है कि कोई भी तरह की टूट फूट या इनसे संपर्क साधने की कोशिश शिवसेना की नहीं हो सके। इसी वजह से इन सभी विधायकों को यहां इतनी दूर यानी गुवाहाटी लाया गया है। और ये जो शिव सैनिक या उद्धव ठाकरे के जो दूसरे मंत्री हैं या उद्धव ठाकरे हैं, वो जो कोशिश कर रहे थे कि इनको वापस बुलाया जाए, वापस लाया जाए, उस बातचीत की कोशिश में टूट हो, बातचीत की कोशिश सफल न हो पाए, इसी के मकसद से गुवाहाटी के रेडिसन ब्लू होटल में इनको फिलहाल के लिए रखा गया है। जो तीनों बसें हैं भीतर घुस गई हैं और जो मेन गेट है रेडिसन ब्लू का, उसके बाहर भारी संख्या में पुलिसकर्मियों को तैनात किया गया है और उसके बाहर ही मीडिया कर्मियों को रोक दिया गया है। मल्लिका,
Anupam Mishra reporting live from Guwahati. Look at the kind of security that's been deployed there. Similar scenes that we saw yesterday in Surat. Massive security preps being put up outside the hotel in Guwahati, where Eknath Shinde's vehicle you just saw moving in, along with the slew of rebel MLAs with him. There's also a picture that we're going to be putting out in a few moments from now of all of these MLAs seated together in the resort in Surat to show off the numbers. Let's cut across live to Anupam.
यही है और उसकी एक बड़ी वजह है यहाँ के मुख्यमंत्री हेमंत विश्व शर्मा। हेमंत विश्व शर्मा को इससे पहले हमने कई बार नॉर्थ ईस्ट में सरकार गढ़ते हुए देखा है और किस तरह से जो बागी विधायक हैं उनको सुरक्षित रखना है, उनको तब तक रखे रखना है जब तक वो सरकार में शामिल न हो जाए या बहुमत साबित न हो जाए। ये हेमंत विश्व शर्मा को बहुत अच्छे से आता है। और दूसरी बड़ी वजह है कि इतनी दूर लाने की कि ये जो इलाका है गुवाहाटी जो क्षेत्र है, यहाँ पर भाषा अलग है, रहन सहन अलग है, वेशभूषा अलग हो जा रही है और दूरी तो बहुत ज्यादा है। अगर आप ट्रेन से सोचें सूरत से या महाराष्ट्र से गुवाहाटी आने की तो आपको 2-2.5 दिन लग जाएगा। फ्लाइट से आप जरूर आ सकते हैं लेकिन यहां तक आने के लिए काफी लंबा सफर तय करना पड़ेगा। और जो सुविधाएं, जो कॉन्टैक्ट्स महाराष्ट्र के बाहर गुजरात में उद्धव सरकार ठाकरे के हैं, वो यहां पर उनके पास नहीं होंगे इनसे संपर्क साधने के। सबसे बड़ी बात यही समझने की कोशिश है कि आखिर इतनी दूर क्यों लाया गया है। तो संपर्क साधने के जो कॉन्टैक्ट्स होते हैं वो आसपास के इलाकों में ज्यादा होते हैं। अब दूर के इलाकों में आप जाएंगे तो संपर्क बहुत मुश्किल से मिलते हैं। तो यही वजह है कि इनको इतनी दूर लाया गया है जहां पर उद्धव सरकार का जो संपर्क साधने का जो कॉन्टैक्ट्स हैं या जो तरीका है वो कमजोर पड़ जाए। और बीजेपी या फिर एकनाथ शिंदे अगर इसको चला रहे हैं, इसको एक तरह से नेतृत्व दे रहे हैं, तो उनकी सोच यही है कि किस तरह से जो 40 विधायक जैसा कि दावा किया जा रहा है वो एकजुट रहें और वापस शिवसेना में न जाएं।
Anupam Mishra reporting live there from Guwahati, getting us the details of Eknath Shinde and the rebel MLAs. Where are they right now? They've been put up at a Radisson hotel in Guwahati. You see the kind of security that's also been put up there. Nobody else being allowed inside, nobody being allowed to leave either, similar to what we saw in Surat yesterday. Eknath Shinde claims that he has 40 MLAs, I beg your pardon, with him. That's a big claim because to avoid disqualification under the law, Shinde needs the support of 36 MLAs, essentially 2/3 of the strength of the House. If Shinde is right, if he does have 40 MLA support with him, that means that he cannot, in fact, will not be disqualified in any way. So that is a big development also that's come in. We're of course hoping for some clarity in a few hours from now from our reporters on the ground as to exactly how many MLAs were there. Many of them have confirmed that yes, we're from the Shiv Sena. Others refusing to diverge any details, saying we're not up to any politicking. We're here as tourists. We're here to roam around and visit Guwahati. But the fact is that these MLAs are being huddled into buses, as you see there on your screens, at the Guwahati airport. There were a number of AC buses waiting for them the moment they touched down. Some reports also suggesting that there was a BJP MLA present there at the Guwahati airport. That's something we'll confirm for you because so far there's been no clarity on that.
सुरक्षाकर्मी भी यहाँ पर लाए जा रहे हैं। पहले से पुलिस मौजूद है, साथ में और ज्यादा सुरक्षाकर्मी होटल के बाहर लाए जा रहे हैं। ये होटल का जो बाहरी गेट है उसके बाहर की तस्वीरें हैं, यानी होटल के भीतर घुसने का कोई सवाल ही नहीं है। होटल के भीतर मैं कैमरामैन तापस बेरी को बोलूंगा एक बार होटल के भीतर जूम करके आपको दिखाने की कोशिश करें। काफी लंबा जो पैसेज है काफी लंबा है, उसके बाद होटल के जो कमरे हैं या रिसेप्शन है वो शुरू होता है। तो पहले होटल है, उसके बाद बहुत लंबा पैसेज है और उसके बाद गेट है। गेट के बाहर जो सुरक्षाकर्मी है वो तैनात हैं, गेट के भीतर सुरक्षाकर्मी तैनात हैं। तो सुरक्षा का दायरा कैसा है, मजबूती कैसी है, वो मैं आपको बता रहा हूं। और इसलिए बता रहा हूं कि यह समझना जरूरी है कि गुवाहाटी क्यों लाया गया और गुवाहाटी लाने के बाद किस तरह की सुरक्षा व्यवस्था में रखा गया है, क्योंकि ये उस रणनीति का हिस्सा है जो हम पिछले कई सालों से देख रहे हैं, रिजॉर्ट पॉलिटिक्स, जिसके तहत जो बागी हो चुके विधायक होते हैं उनको टूट फूट या खरीद फरोख्त से बचाने की पुरजोर कोशिश होती है। और वही पुरजोर कोशिश इस वक्त सूरत से गुवाहाटी पहुंच चुकी है। और उसकी वजह भी यही है कि दूरी इतनी ज्यादा कायम की जाए, जो कॉन्टैक्ट्स हैं इतने कम कर दिए जाएं कि इन तक पहुंचना मुश्किल हो। और उसी तरीके को एक नए अंदाज में यहां पर हमें देखने को मिल रहा है कि दूरी बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ाई गई है। पहले हमें देखने को मिलता था बगल में, आपको याद होगा कर्नाटक के समय में केरल ने कहा था, केरल ने आग्रह किया था कि जो विधायक है उनको यहां ले आया जाए, तो वो बगल के स्टेट्स थे। लेकिन ये जो दूरी है ये पहली बार देखने को मिल रही है कि एक कोने से दूसरे कोने तक ले आया गया है। तो इसके पीछे की वजह यही है कि जो कोशिश है, जो मकसद है, वो इतना तगड़ा किया जा रहा है कि उस मकसद तक पहुंचने की खामियां हैं उसको ढका जा सके। और उस खामियों को ढकने के पीछे का ये जो तरीका है वो मैं आपको दिखा रहा हूं। टूट फूट और खरीद फरोख्त से रोकने के लिए इतनी दूर लाया गया है, वो मैं आपको दिखा रहा हूं। मल्लिका,
outside Radisson Blue there, you've got Anupam Mishra getting us the latest updates from Guwahati. On the left of your screens is the picture that was clicked at the resort in Surat. We've counted the number of MLAs there. 35 MLAs are present in that picture. So it looks like it's more or less confirmed the 35 MLAs are with Eknath Shinde. He's taken it a notch up, saying that at the Guwahati airport, in fact, there while speaking to the media, he says that he has the support of 40 MLAs. Why is that crucial? Well, if you look at it number-wise, of course, it's a huge setback for the Shiv Sena because their numbers further dwindle. There was endless speculation that Shiv Sena's number comes down to 34. If they've lost 21 MLAs, it's gone way beyond that. It's 35 plus clearly. And what's also led to endless speculation is a news break that you see on your screens right now. We've confirmed here on India Today that a BJP MLA was present in Guwahati to welcome all of these rebel MLAs, to welcome Eknath Shinde. The information we have is that BJP MLA Sushanta Borgohain was present at the Guwahati airport to welcome all of these legislators. It's going to, of course, again put the focus on the Bharatiya Janata Party, or what the Saffron Party's role is here. The fact that these MLAs are moved from one BJP ruled state to another, and then you have for the first time a BJP MLA actually meeting them, welcoming them, is going to set off tongues wagging. But this particular MLA, when we spoke to him, has said that I came to receive these MLAs. I don't know how many of them are there. I've come for personal reasons. That's what he says. He says, I've come because I have personal relations with many of these MLAs. They haven't disclosed any program to me. So the BJP also clearly at this point, playing their cards close to their chest, not giving any details, sticking to the line that these rebel MLAs are sticking to, that we don't know why we're here. We're going to be very vague about what exactly our next plan of action is. But BJP MLA Sushanta Borgohain was at the Guwahati airport, received these MLAs and says that I haven't counted how many of them are there. I've come here for personal relations. What's very clear is that it's 35 MLAs at this point, going by the picture that we've accessed here on India Today. Eknath Shinde has claimed that he has 40 MLAs with him, not 35. That will mean a huge setback for Shiv Sena. It will mean a huge boost for Eknath Shinde as well, because to avoid being disqualified, Shinde needs the support of 36 plus MLAs. That's essentially 2/3 of the strength of the House. And Shinde claims that he has that. He claims that he has the support of 40 MLAs. Now, the BJP's hand in this is at this point going to be endlessly speculated about whether this is the result of Operation Kamala. For the first time on record, we have a BJP leader actually meeting with these rebels. a BJP MLA, Sushanta Borgohain, was there at the Guwahati airport to receive these MLAs. So it's clear that the BJP is in the know-how of what's happening as far as these MLAs' movements are concerned, because right now they've been very tight-lipped. India Today got the news break late last night that they were on board a flight moving from Surat to Guwahati, and looks like BJP also has been keeping track, very close track, of exactly where these MLAs are headed. We're going to try and get you that reaction also from the BJP MLA there, Sushanta Borgohain, who is there at the Guwahati airport. We're also going to be reconnecting with my colleague Anupam Mishra, who's getting us all the live updates from Radisson Blu. The images that you see on the left of your screens is from that resort, and the bus full of MLAs making its way into that hotel amid a sea of security. We are going to also try to seek details of exactly how many MLAs have touched down there. But look at the kind of security cordon present. Nobody's being allowed inside that particular hotel. Nobody's being allowed out. They're ensuring that there can be no communication with these MLAs at a time when the Shiv Sena is trying hard to reach out to every single legislator you see there seated inside that bus. So all their efforts to also reach out to someone who is considered one of the tallest leaders, to someone who's considered a very senior leader of the Shiv Sena, Eknath Shinde, have been futile so far. It looks like he's made up his mind, and very interesting jibes that he's also taken at Uddhav Thackeray, saying, I've not left the Shiv Sena, I'm merely taking forward Uddhav Thackeray's, Balasaheb Thackeray's ideology, I beg your pardon, of Hindutva. So he's claiming to hold up the mantle of what Balasaheb Thackeray stood up for, what the Shiv Sena stands for, while indirectly taking that jibe there at Uddhav Thackeray and refusing to say that I am faithful or have trust in Uddhav Thackeray. So that by itself is huge messaging to, in fact, the Shiv Sena that Eknath Shinde is not going to reconsider joining hands with Uddhav Thackeray. Let's play out for you exactly what Eknath Shinde told us earlier.
शिव सेना के 40 MLAs अभी यहाँ मौजूद है और सभी लोग जो है हम बाला साहब ठाकरे जी का जो हिंदुत्व है और उनकी जो भूमिका है उसको हम लोग आगे ले जाना चाहते हैं। शिव सेना के 40 MLAs अभी यहाँ मौजूद है और सभी लोग जो है हम बाला साहब ठाकरे जी का जो हिंदुत्व है और उनकी जो भूमिका है उसको हम लोग आगे ले जाना चाहते हैं।
So that is Eknath Shinde claiming that he has the support of 40 MLAs. If you look at the kind of images, the kind of information we have, the number stands at 35. But Shinde claims that it's not just Shiv Sena MLAs. He's got MLAs from smaller parties, independents also backing him right now. That will mean huge trouble for Uddhav Thackeray. If it is true that Eknath Shinde has the support of 40 MLAs, and considering that there's been a lot of talk that Shinde is in touch with the BJP, that is the BJP orchestrating all of this political drama, it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out in the coming hours. Anupam Mishra is joining us live from Guwahati. Anupam, good morning. You're reporting from Radisson Blu. You are tracking very closely the convoy of MLAs. Any idea, Anupam, how many MLAs are there right now?
Akshita, well, we have spoken with dissident MLAs. Some of them, one of them told us that they have 35 MLAs, and two of them told us they have 40 MLAs with them. So there is a confusion between 35 and 40, but we will go with 40 because two persons have told us that they have 40 MLAs with them, and they have been put in Radisson Blu right now. And I'm showing you the visuals of the hotel, which is highly guarded by security personnel. Around 50 to 100 security personnel are there outside the hotel, and there's a passage. After that the rooms will start, so you can understand how securely they have been put there, and the effort of putting them in Guwahati and in this Radisson Blu hotel is that because we have seen in recent times that whenever these resort politics occurs, the other party tries to get in touch with dissidents. So this effort is to negate the effort of get in touch with these dissident MLAs here. Akshita.
Okay, so Anupam, at this point, these rebel MLAs have made their way into this particular Guwahati resort. There was a time when also Eknath Shinde spoke at the Guwahati airport. He maintains that he's got 40 MLAs with him. Can you also confirm for us, was there a BJP MLA who was present at the Guwahati airport and has he accompanied them to Radisson Blu?
See, we have not seen any BJP MLA in outside airport and as well as outside this Radisson Blu hotel. So there were only security personnel who were accompanying with dissident MLAs who have been shifted from airport to 3 AC buses and they have been transported to this Radisson Blu hotel. So far, we have not seen any BJP MLA from Assam as well as from other areas. So we expect that BJP MLAs will start coming here. Or they may not be, they will come from this gate, they may come from another gate also. So we have to see whether BJP MLAs start to come here or whether Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma comes here.
Show us around, Anupam. I see huge security around you. Show us around. What's happening there?
Yes. I'll tell my camera person Tapas Berry to show you the visuals of hotel just outside. These are the visuals of hotels just outside the hotel, and there are huge security deployment just outside the hotel as well as inside the hotel. So what we are witnessing a huge deployment. At least 100 police personnel have been deployed just outside the hotel, and this is the main gate. And I'm just letting you to see the another gate which is just beside the main gate, and there also we have we are witnessing lot of security personnel. So these are the 2 gates in front of the hotel, and a lot of police personnel have been deployed with armed police forces have also been deployed here. So we can understand the measure of security which they have been put into, because we can understand that they don't want anyone to enter into the hotel, or they don't even want themselves to get out from that hotel to get in touch with someone.
Okay, so Anupam Mishra, they're reporting from outside Radisson Blu. Look at the kind of security around him. Nobody's being allowed inside right now. Anupam also telling us that so far there's no BJP leader who's made his her way inside. Anupam, what's also come as a huge development is Eknath Shinde, they're speaking at the Guwahati airport, saying very clearly that I have the support of 40 MLAs. It was assumed that it was about 20s. It progressed to about 30s. Now he's saying that he's got 40 MLAs with him.
Yes, Akshita, the number is increasing hour by hour. We have seen initially he had only 20 MLAs, then it was increasing, and now when they came down to Guwahati airport, they claimed that they have 40 MLAs with them. And we have seen a lot of MLAs. We couldn't count at the time, but I can tell you there were a lot of MLAs entering into the bus, and it may be 35 to 40 MLAs with them. So far what we have seen, 35 to 40 MLAs with Eknath Shinde, and that is a huge number with him. So he can dictate the terms, the number of MLAs with him.
That's true, and it's clear at this point, looking at the kind of security behind Anupam, that all steps are being taken to ensure that the Shiv Sena has absolutely no means of actually reaching out to any of the MLAs there. Anupam Mishra is reporting live from Radisson Blu in Guwahati. Just moments ago, you had a bus full of these MLAs going in. It's very clear that it was anticipated that they'll touch down, Anupam, in Guwahati. All preparations were made much ahead also. You had AC buses lined up at the Guwahati airport. This kind of unprecedented security for the MLAs as well.
Yes, obviously, and I can tell you we have tried to speak with several MLAs, and most of the MLAs were mum. They were not speaking anything. Few of the MLAs told us that they have 40 MLAs, they have 35 MLAs, and they are here for tourism. And one of the MLA told us that that they will be here for 8 days, and they will then go to Maharashtra. So that was the first account from the MLAs what we can tell you. And this is the high security zone at present which we are witnessing here. At least 100 police personnel have been deployed just outside of the Radisson Blu Hotel, and a lot of security personnel also deployed inside the hotel, what we have seen. And this is a big hotel. A passage is there, then the rooms will start, reception will start. So there's no way you can enter inside the hotel, and there's no way, I don't think that the MLAs will be allowed to come outside of the hotel. That is why the huge security arrangement we are witnessing here. Akshita.
I just want to read out the numbers also. We just put on that scroll of the before revolt versus after. We put that out for you again so we can explain to you exactly what the numbers look like. And this is with the assumption that Eknath Shinde has with him 35 MLAs. And we're going with that assumption because of the picture that's emerged from the Surat resort where 35 MLAs are lined up. Before the revolt, before the storm hit Shiv Sena, look at the numbers on your screens. Out of 285, the Shiv Sena had 64.
एकनाथ शिंदे के साथ बागी विधायकों का दल इस वक्त गुवाहाटी में है. क्या रणनीति आगे की?
निर्दल नहीं है, हमारी तहार की पार्टी है. तहार और मैं और हमारे साथ एक और विधायक है, और अभी तक 40 तो हो गए और बढ़ेंगे, 10 तक और बढ़ेंगे, 50 हो जाएंगे.
तो सर आप ये बड़ा दावा कर रहे हैं कि ये संख्या 50 हो जाएगी, क्योंकि कल 20 से 34 से लेकर के आज 40 का दावा एकनाथ शिंदे ने खुद किया है और आप कह रहे हैं कि ये संख्या 50 भी हो सकती है.
हाँ, 50.
तो अब आगे की रणनीति क्या है सर, इसके बारे में भी अगर आप हमारे दर्शकों को बता दें.
अभी क्या, अभी बस अभी सत्ता प्रस्तावित करना है, सत्ता की तरफ जाना है.
तो बच्चों जी, गुवाहाटी में अब और कितने दिन?
गुवाहाटी में कितने दिन ये नहीं बता सकते हम. वो तो आज भी निकल सकते, कल भी जा सकते हैं.
लेकिन बगावत की वजह क्या है, ये भी दर्शक समझना चाहते हैं.
ठीक है, ओके, चलो. और कुछ
जी, बगावत की वजह भी समझना चाहते हैं. आखिर एकनाथ शिंदे बगावत पर क्यों उतरे?
वो तो सब बताएंगे ना, अभी फोन पर क्यों इतने बता.
तो बागी.
So that is in fact an independent MLA, Bachchu Kadu, who we've spoken to. That was a conversation that he had with Aaj Tak Live, where he's in fact said and confirmed at this point that the number is only going to continue to climb up. He's saying what Eknath Shinde has said, that there are 40 MLAs currently. That number, according to him, will go up to 50. But that is something that we'll hold off on till we have clarity, communication and confirmation on at this point. Eknath Shinde claiming 40 MLAs were with him, even going ahead and saying that number will climb up to 50. But the picture on your screens there, in the middle of your screen, shows 35 MLAs, which is why we're putting out that calculation right now of before revolt versus after. Before revolt, the BJP at 113, Shiv Sena at 64. The rest of it, of course, remains the same. After revolt, look at how the BJP's numbers change. This is, of course, with the assumption that they will all resign, then go ahead with bypolls and then join hands with the BJP. The Shiv Sena's numbers dwindling from 64 to 29. This is, let me again reiterate, if 35 MLAs are part of this rebellion. Eknath Shinde claims it's 40, in which case the Shiv Sena's numbers will not be 29, it will go down further to 24. And that will be a huge setback, because from 64 we're talking about 24. Huge setback for the Shiv Sena there. We're also hearing that there are a couple of independent MLAs, a couple of other MLAs from smaller parties who are also with Eknath Shinde. So that breakdown is something we're awaiting. An independent MLA we just spoke to has said that there are 50 MLAs with him. Anupam Mishra is reporting live from Radisson Blu, which is where these MLAs are camped right now. Anupam, do we have any clarity about whether there were any MLAs who flew in from Maharashtra this morning when all these MLAs touched down?
Well, Akshita, we couldn't count at the time because it was a huge rush at the time. But I can tell you, I have spoken with 2 of the MLAs, and they told us, in fact, we have spoken with 3 MLAs. One of them told us they have 35 MLAs, and rest of the 2 told us they have 40 MLAs. So we are still not clear whether it is 40 or 35, or as you said, claimed by some of the MLAs as it is 50. So it will be clear in an hour or or the day as the day progresses. But we have to see what the security arrangements are here and which of the BJP MLAs are entering into this hotel. So till now, so far, the chronology which goes like this, that 6:30 in the morning, the plane arrived at Guwahati airport. They entered into 3 AC buses and they have been shifted to this hotel Radisson Blu in Guwahati, and there's a huge security deployment outside the hotel.
Okay, and we can see that. We can see the amount of security being provided there to ensure nobody can make their way in, nobody can come out. On the middle of your screens, you see these rebel MLAs signing a document. Now, it's suspected that this is actually a document where they're signing off, expressing their support to Eknath Shinde, something like a pledge, where they're in fact signing off saying that they will stick with Eknath Shinde. These are steps being taken at a time when the Shiv Sena is trying desperately to reach out to its legislators. So this is a measure being taken by Eknath Shinde to ensure that there's no way that the MLAs now ditch him and join back with the Shiv Sena. So to ensure that this is a foolproof rebellion, an airtight rebellion, you've got these MLAs, they're signing off on sheets of paper, what looks like some sort of a pledge where they're showing their support to Eknath Shinde. All steps here being taken by Eknath Shinde to ensure that this, these MLAs that he has with him remain intact. The number doesn't go down. He claims that the numbers in fact going up to 40 now. That's the big news break that we're also putting out on your screens right now of how the rebels are being made to sign off on sheets of paper. We'll put out those images also in just a bit at a time when Uddhav Thackeray is doing everything he can to stop this massive rebellion, to ensure that the Shiv Sena has the numbers and to ensure that he reaches out to every single legislator you see on your screens there. Eknath Shinde, in his own way of trying to keep the flock together to ensure that this rebellion of his is intact, is making every MLA sign off on a sheet of paper what looks like a pledge to remain by his side, to not ditch him and go back to the Shiv Sena. And it's in that regard also that from Surat late last night, these MLAs were flown to Guwahati. We've reported on many such incidents of resort politics, and inevitably these legislators, while they're being herded off from one location to other, have absolutely no clue where they're headed to. And this is done to ensure that nobody can reach out to them, that even if there's one person who's in touch with the leadership of the other party, like in this case the Shiv Sena doesn't find out at the very last minute exactly where they are headed. So those images of them signing off on the sheets of paper was from late last night in Surat, after the photo op of all of them showing off their support to Eknath Shinde. After that, they were made to board a flight and taken to Guwahati. The information we have is that there was a BJP MLA who was present at the Guwahati airport. Sushanta Borgohain was there at the Guwahati airport to receive these MLAs, and that's the first time you've had a BJP MLA actually directly seen, a BJP leader directly associated with these rebels. He's maintained, however, that he was there for personal reasons because he knows many of these MLAs personally, but obviously a lot is going to be read into it. The fact that a BJP leader was there to welcome, to greet these MLAs at the Guwahati airport. But so far, Anupam, can you confirm that for us? There's no BJP leader who's present at the Radisson Blu resort?
See, there is no way that we can confirm it because there was a huge rush in the airport. If any BJP MLA were present, we could missed it, and we have not been allowed to enter into the Radisson Blu hotel, which is guarded by heavy security. So no one is allowed to enter, no one is allowed to walk out, especially MLAs. So we can't confirm from here that any BJP MLA is inside or not, because it may happen that some of the BJP MLAs have entered just before media came here, or maybe at yesterday night, but we cannot confirm it because we have not seen it from our eyes. So these are all maybe there may be some BJP MLAs or some BJP leader inside. So, but we can only confirm it when we can see from our eyes.
Okay, and that is something we'll track closely. Anupam Mishra, who's been reporting from Guwahati Airport, followed these MLAs, followed Eknath Shinde as they made their way inside the Radisson Blu resort. Look at the kind of security that's been put up at this hotel to ensure nobody can make their way in, nobody can get in touch with these MLAs. Two MLAs who we have on record. One is, of course, Eknath Shinde, who maintains that 40 MLAs are with him. We spoke to an independent MLA exclusively here on India Today. He's also said that 40 MLAs are currently in Guwahati. An independent MLA, Bachu Kadu, speaking to India Today, has said that 40 MLAs are here. That number is going to go up to 50. Will that actually happen remains to be seen. But the images on the left of your screens are from late last night from Surat, where all of these MLAs were seen signing off a pledge expressing their support to Eknath Shinde. Every single one of them who was there at the Surat resort was made to sign off on that sheet of paper. Eknath Shinde, after touching down in Guwahati, spoke to the media and said that he has the support of 40 MLAs. We're still, of course, awaiting details about that. And what kind of a breakdown it is, whether they're all Shiv Sena MLAs or whether there are independent as well as MLAs from smaller parties with him, which is what Shinde claims. But he's saying 40 MLAs, and that's a big, big number. It also means that he cannot be disqualified because Shinde essentially needs the support of 2/3 of the strength of the House, more than 36 MLAs. If his claim of 40 MLAs is true, that means he cannot be disqualified. But the pictures that have emerged from the Surat resort from late last night shows 35 MLAs extending support to Eknath Shinde. A photo op that no doubt will have Uddhav Thackeray extremely worried. So if in fact it's true that he has the support of 40 MLAs, from 35, that number has gone up. It means 5 MLAs from Maharashtra have also flown in. And let's get details on that from Anupam. Anupam, did all of these MLAs fly down from Surat? Were there a handful of them who came in from Maharashtra? Any idea about that?
See, we have seen at least 35 MLAs who have been flown down from Surat to Guwahati. They have arrived around 6:30 at Guwahati airport, and then they have been shifted to 3 AC buses, and they have been transported to this Radisson Blu hotel in Guwahati. So there was a huge rush. It was not possible to count everyone at the airport. We have tried to get in touch with some of the MLAs who have said that 2 of the MLAs said that they have 40 MLAs with them. And one MLA said that they have 35 MLAs with them. We have not seen any BJP MLA or leader with them, and they have been shifted to, when they have been shifted to this hotel, what we are witnessing is a huge deployment of security forces. And one thing is very clear, that this is a new level of security, and I want to show you that every car which is entering inside the hotel is the security personnel, the hotel staffs are inquiring thoroughly. Even if it's an empty car with driver only, they are inquiring it thoroughly, and if satisfied, then only the vehicle is allowed to enter into the hotel. So this is the kind of level, kind of measure of security here in the hotel, and this proves that this is a new level of resort politics, where dissident MLAs have been flown from one corner of the country to another corner of the country, and that is only for ensuring that these MLAs will be secured safely and no one will be able to get in touch with them, and they will be holed up there. Akshita.
One of the questions that viewers have been asking in the last 24 hours is what prompted this kind of a rebellion? And the independent MLA we spoke to has said very clearly that we have no problem with Uddhav Thackeray. What we have a problem with is the fact that there is in fact this alliance between the Shiv Sena, NCP and the Congress. So the problem is with the alliance, and that's exactly what Eknath Shinde has also referred to. When he spoke to the media earlier today, he took a jab at Uddhav Thackeray, saying that I'm very much with the Shiv Sena. I'm carrying forward Balasaheb Thackeray's ideology and his Hindutva ideals. But not once did he refer to Uddhav Thackeray. So essentially what Eknath Shinde seems to be suggesting here is that Uddhav Thackeray has betrayed Balasaheb Thackeray's ideals, his Hindutva beliefs. And that's why Eknath Shinde is carrying the mantle forward. What Shinde seems to be referring to particularly is Uddhav Thackeray's decision of allying with the NCP and the Congress. It's something, of course, that came under huge scrutiny years ago when the alliance itself was announced, when the Maha was formed. And what's very clear is that there was still displeasure on that front within the Shiv Sena. Eknath Shinde referred to that particularly when he spoke at the Guwahati airport. Let's play out for you exactly what Shinde said when he took a jibe at Uddhav Thackeray and also said that he has the support of 40 MLAs. Listen into what Eknath Shinde said.
40 MLAs अभी यहाँ मौजूद है और सभी लोग जो है हम बाला साहब ठाकरे जी का जो हिंदुत्व है इस और उनकी जो भूमिका है उसको हम लोग आगे ले जाना चाहते हैं। शिव सेना के 40 MLAs अभी यहाँ मौजूद है और सभी लोग जो है हम बाला साहब ठाकरे जी का जो हिंदुत्व है इस और उनकी जो भूमिका है उसको हम लोग आगे ले जाना चाहते हैं।
Non-stop updates pouring in on the Maharashtra rebellion drama, and we've got you covered here on India Today on every single update that's coming through the night. What you need to know about this morning, number one, is that Eknath Shinde, who's leading this massive rebellion, claims that he has the support of not 35 but 40 MLAs. That changes this entire political game drastically. Besides that, Eknath Shinde has also taken a jibe at Uddhav Thackeray, saying, I will follow Balasaheb's Hindutva, and no mention of any faith in Uddhav Thackeray. Rebel MLAs, as you see on the left of your screens, they are being made to sign papers pledging their support to Eknath Shinde. This happened at Surat yesterday before they boarded a flight and made their way to Guwahati. Interestingly, there was a BJP MLA, Sushanta Borgohain, who was present in the Guwahati airport to welcome all of these rebels. It's the first time that you've had a BJP leader actually meeting with these rebels. It's going to lead to endless speculation of what the BJP's role is in this entire political drama. As far as the Maha Ghadi is concerned, they've been trying to figure out what they need to do, and the Maharashtra cabinet meeting will be happening at 1 this afternoon. A meeting that everyone will be very, very closely tracking to see what's decided with regards to reaching out to all of these MLAs. Let's take this across now to Pankaj Upadhyay. He's joining us live from outside Sanjay Raut's residence in Mumbai. Pankaj, good morning. Lots that's changed overnight. Eknath Shinde claims that he has the support now of not 35 but 40 MLAs. That clearly changes the number games, and if it is true, huge setback for Shiv Sena.
Morning, Akshita. No doubt about the fact that Shiv Sena is in deep crisis right now, and it remains to be seen how is Shiv Sena going to overcome this big crisis of sorts. In fact, this is a big question mark as well on the leadership of Uddhav Thackeray. Not just a big crisis in front of the MBA government, also, as I said, a big question mark on the leadership of Uddhav Thackeray as well. And perhaps this is for the first time that Uddhav Thackeray is facing such a massive challenge from within the Shiv Sena. Now, it was known all along, Akshita, that there was a faction within the Shiv Sena which was all along not very happy with the idea of being allies with the Congress and the NCP. And there were murmurs doing the rounds from the very beginning, ever since 2019, that perhaps this very faction could create trouble, mount pressure on the Uddhav Thackeray government. Remember, Eknath Shinde was the one who in 2019 had clearly said, and he had expressed his, feeling even way back then. He was not very happy aligning with the Congress and the Shiv Sena. Also remember that in 2019, when Sonia Gandhi and Sharad Pawar insisted that Uddhav Thackeray be made the chief minister, it was Eknath Shinde who missed the bus. Otherwise, he had such a clout in the Shiv Sena that he would have become the chief minister of the state. But all these things are to be remembered. Right now, Shiv Sena says that they are trying their level best to pacify Eknath Shinde. Shiv Sena says that Eknath Shinde is still the party man. Sanjay Raut went on to the extent of saying that Shinde is his friend as well. But it clearly seems that the Shinde brigade is not relenting right now. In fact, Bachchu Kadu, who is Minister of State, has gone on record to say that they command the support of more than 40 MLAs.
Yes.
And that is serious trouble for Shiv Sena. There's going to be an important cabinet meet today in the noon time. Before that, there is going to be a meeting of the Congress party as well. Senior Congress party leader Kamal Nath is in Mumbai as well to see what's going to happen. Because Congress is also very jittery right now. It says 44 MLAs are together. They are not moving anywhere. The party is one, because remember, even there were murmurs from the very beginning that there is also a lot of unrest within the Congress party as well. So Congress fears that their folks might also just break away at this point of time. Anything is possible. So, important meeting of the Congress party as well. Perhaps Sanjay Raut is going to meet the chief minister yet again. And everything is happening right now. And importantly, the biggest news right now, of course, remains that the rebel MLAs of the Shiv Sena have been shifted from Surat overnight to Guwahati, and not just Eknath Shinde, many other ministers, including the likes of Bachchu Kadu, who's Minister of State, who's been supporting the Shiv Sena, who belongs to the Prahar Jan Shakti party, maintains that they have the support of more than 40 MLAs. This is a big crisis for Shiv Sena. Really remains to be seen whether Shiv Sena, if at all, will be able to avert this crisis.
And let's find out what Uddhav Thackeray is doing right now. What is he doing to address this problem? Maushmi Singh is joining us live from Uddhav Thackeray's residence. Maushmi, good morning. Take us through what really the Shiv Sena strategy is here. We understand that all the Shiv Sena MLAs, amid this massive rebellion, have been shifted to a hotel.
Absolutely, you know, where all the action is going to unfold later in the day today at Varsha, and I can tell you that trouble has been pouring in for the Maharashtra Aghadi Sarkar. Clearly, with the way the rebel MLAs have reached Guwahati, it clearly is a Lakshman Rekha that they have really crossed, and with the versions that are coming of the MLAs who have reached there, it seems that the clouds of trouble are unlikely to clear out for Uddhav Thackeray. But I can tell you that with Kamal Nath coming in, the Congress would like to sort out the trouble and also, you know, strike the same chord as its alliance partners. Importantly, when you know, the MLAs are saying that we don't have an issue with Uddhav Thackeray, but we have an issue with the allies, and we don't want to align with the NCP and the Congress. So that's where the trouble spot is. And Uddhav Thackeray, it is a test of his nerves. It is a test of his political acumen, because facing one of the biggest challenges in front of him, of his government, also a biggest challenge of the internal rebellion in the Shiv Sena. One will have to see how he really sorts out this mess. Perhaps I can show you the visuals right here. So Mumbai, as it really wakes up, political turmoil brewing, and remember that it was earlier Sharad Pawar was also thrown into a similar situation, and the master strategist and master politician that Sharad Pawar is, he really bailed himself out from a deeper crisis. So one will have to see how Uddhav Thackeray really tries to diffuse this entire row, even as it seems to be inflating and becoming bigger and bigger.
Uddhav Thackeray do in the next 24 hours, because this is escalating. It's snowballing into an all-out revolt against him and his decision of allying with the NCP and the Congress. That much is clear based on the conversations that we've had with all of these rebels. But let's break down the numbers for you, because that's what it really comes down to. Now, if the 35 rebels, if there are 35 rebels right now, let's take a look at what really it means for the Shiv Sena, for the Maha Aghadi. The total strength of the assembly is 285. Shiv Sena's number goes down to 29 if 35 of their MLAs have rebelled. The BJP gets stronger at 148. The NCP and the Congress remain untouched, because they claim that their flock is very much together. There's no rebellion within their parties. If there are 35 rebels, the Shiv Sena's number is dwindling drastically, and that means the Maha Aghadi's number dwindles. The BJP, of course, stands to gain. 148 will be their number in that particular case. So this is how things stand if there are 35 rebels. Eknath Shinde actually claims that it's not 35 now, it's 40. Let's take this across to Paras Dhamma for more updates on this particular story. So, Paras, at this point, there are a lot of questions being asked on exactly how the NCP, how the Congress are reacting to this. They're maintaining that their flock remains together, that they've had no rebellion, none of their MLAs are with Eknath Shinde.
Yeah, of course, as yesterday Sharad Pawar has taken a press conference in Delhi, and he has cleared that it's Shiv Sena's problem, it's not our problem. So they have to sort it internally. But right now the situation is very difficult for MVA government, because they are on an urge of perishing like a card. But the situation which has been created, it's been very difficult. So now the plan of action for MVA government, they have to set something that can help them to save their parties and save save their government. But the situation which has been created from last 15-20 days, it's very difficult for them to save themselves. Today is the most important day for Maharashtra politics because there are some important decisions to be made today. There is a meeting at 1 at Uddhav Thackeray's place. Plus, I'll just let you know the main thing which happened yesterday night. Devendra Fadnavis, the leader of opposition, has taken a very important meeting where I am standing right now. It's Devendra Fadnavis' house in Malabar Hill. Over there, he has taken a very important meeting and he has decided some strategies to how to take this thing. So now, probably today will be the main day because Bhajapa will also set their strategies. They will also plan their strategies. MVA government is also planning some strategies. So today is the most important day in Maharashtra politics.
So I want to understand from you, is it completely ruled out that the Shiv Sena will join hands with, in fact, the BJP? Because that seems to be the ultimatum that Eknath Shinde put forth.
Yeah, of course, because some things has been told by Eknath Shinde to Bhajapa and Shiv Sena also. Yesterday we had, India Today broke a story where Eknath Shinde had spoken to Uddhav Thackeray, and still Eknath Shinde have a single point that he is in Shiv Sena, but he wants to follow the thing which has been given by Balasaheb Thackeray, the Hindutva. That Balasaheb Thackeray was following, he follows that Hindutva only. So right now, the man in power is Eknath Shinde. He can change everything. If Shiv Sena wants to remain in power, Eknath Shinde is the man. If BJP wants to come back in power, Eknath Shinde is the man. So right now, everything depends on Eknath Shinde. So what Eknath Shinde will do? There are so many speculations going around in Maharashtra right now, but key man is Eknath Shinde because Eknath Shinde is claiming that he has 40 MLAs and 40 MLAs
Let me take that question across. Bharat, stay with me. Let me take that question across to Pankaj Upadhyay also. Pankaj, is this where Shiv Sena draws the line? Eknath Shinde has put an ultimatum saying that, look, join hands with the BJP. At this point, Uddhav Thackeray said no. But if things continue to snowball and escalate the way they are right now, is it a possibility? Is it something that Uddhav Thackeray is willing to consider?
Akshita, that's a very difficult question to answer at this point of time. Clearly, let us understand what has happened yesterday. 20 minutes of talks between Uddhav Thackeray and Eknath Shinde, and no resolution came out after that because of the clear fact that Eknath Shinde gave an ultimatum of sorts saying that Uddhav Thackeray needs to align with the Bharatiya Janata Party, else there are possibilities that the party is going to break. But in the evening time, when Uddhav Thackeray had a meeting with the Shiv Senics, he said that even if it were to be believed that the Shiv Senics have a problem, the rebel Shiv Senics have a problem with the Congress and the NCP, the fact remains even the Bharatiya Janata Party has not treated the Shiv Sena nicely. Is the Shiv Sena ready to align yet again with the Bharatiya Janata Party, a party which has been using or rather misusing the central agencies against the very Shiv Senics? He has said that the Shiv Senics need to understand this very aspect. So it is going to be very, very difficult for Uddhav Thackeray at this point of time also to bow down in front of Eknath Shinde. Because after all, Thackeray is bowing down in front of their own cadres is going to be something that remains to be seen. So this question whether Uddhav Thackeray is going to agree to what Eknath Shinde is saying, whether he is going to agree to the rebel camp, that's a $1 million question. But for now, it really remains to be seen as to how the Shiv Sena, Uddhav camp especially, is going to strategize. As Paras was rightly pointing out, today remains to be a very important day. There is an important cabinet meeting at 1 p.m. Today. Before that, we are sure that Sanjay Raut, the chief spokesperson of Shiv Sena, is going to march to Varsha yet again to have a word with Uddhav Thackeray. And also, interestingly, it seems that at this point of time, all the efforts of the Shiv Sena to pacify the rebel camp seems to have failed, because Uddhav Thackeray clearly said that if at all Shinde has problems, then he needs to return to Mumbai, have a face-to-face talk, and perhaps a resolution can be worked out. But the fact remains, on the contrary, the reasoning that Eknath Shinde has given to Uddhav Thackeray is very, very interesting. He has said that because of aligning with the Congress and the NCP, the various MLAs who fought against the Congress and the NCP during the elections, they are facing a lot of problems in their constituency. and also by aligning with Congress party, who has the image of being a pro-Muslim party, the Shiv Sena will be facing a lot of erosion of the vote bank. Hence, at this point of time, the policy of Hindutva, a hardcore Hindutva policy, needs to be adopted, not the soft Hindutva which Uddhav Thackeray is advocating at this point of time.
That's
so
right.
It's not just about the leadership of Uddhav Thackeray, it's also come to the Hindutva of late, which Uddhav Thackeray has been talking about. Clearly, a larger section, especially this rebel faction, is not in line with the kind of Hindutva that Uddhav Thackeray is advocating.
The biggest grouse is the alliance with the NCP and Congress, and that's why it's hugely embarrassing for Uddhav Thackeray, because his MLAs clearly have no faith in him and this Hindutva ideology that he's tried to push through while in an alliance with NCP and the Congress. But there's been a lot of dramatic developments that have happened in the last few hours. Overnight itself, a lot that's changed. Let's break that down for you. Of course, all of the drama is still based in Mumbai. Uddhav Thackeray is currently there. All of his aides, including Sanjay Raut, who was to travel to Delhi, cancelled his visit to ensure that they remain in Mumbai, the heart of action, and kind of strategize on what to do next. What about the rebel MLAs? What about Eknath Shinde, who's manning this rebellion? Well, they were first based in Surat. When they disappeared or were unreachable from Mumbai, Shinde and these rebel MLAs moved to Surat. From there, overnight, they've moved to Guwahati. What's common between Gujarat and Assam? Both are BJP-ruled states. So that's, of course, something that's, not a coincidence. It's not lost on anyone. And the BJP leadership in Delhi keeping a close track of every update that's playing out in this Maha political drama that Uddhav Thackeray is facing. The BJP is, of course, going to hope that it's advantage saffron for them after all of this plays out. Let's take this across to Anupam Mishra. As I mentioned to you, all of the rebel MLAs are currently camped in Guwahati. They travelled through the night. They're now based at the Radisson Blu Resort in Guwahati. Anupam, any idea at this point about how many MLAs reached there? Because, on one hand, you've got that picture of about 35 MLAs with Eknath Shinde. Eknath Shinde, speaking to you and the rest of the media contingent at the Guwahati airport, says that it's not 35, it's 40 MLAs with me.
Yeah, Akshita, well, telling you this before, there is an update coming from highly placed sources, and there is a big update that Chief Minister of Assam, Himanta Biswa Sarma, was seen coming out from this luxury hotel, Radisson Blu, in the morning at around 5:30 a.m. And the highly placed sources have seen the convoy of Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma coming out from this hotel at around 5:30 a.m. This is the update which I have just reiterated, and highly placed sources couldn't confirm that whether Chief Minister went inside for any personal meeting or whether to take stock of the arrangements of these MLAs. But this is the update that is coming from highly placed sources, that Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma was seen inside the hotel and he was coming out from this hotel at around 5:30 a.m. Apart from this, the rebels were kept inside this hotel for about 3 hours here, and the huge security arrangement is there. The huge security deployed on the both gates outside the hotel and as well as inside the hotel, and no one is allowed to enter inside the hotel. In fact, when any empty car is trying to get inside the hotel, the security personnel are inquiring thoroughly, and if satisfied, they are allowing these cars to go inside. So this is the situation over here, and what we are getting, that rebel MLAs will not be allowed to meet anyone, and that is the part of the strategy here in Guwahati.
Huge security barricade that's been put up outside the Radisson Blu Hotel, where Anupam is reporting from. That's where these MLAs currently are. They were taken in buses all the way into this particular hotel. But I want to play out for our viewers now exactly what Eknath Shinde said. When he touched down in Guwahati, he took a jibe at Uddhav Thackeray, saying, I still believe and I'm standing up for Balasaheb Thackeray's Hindutva ideology, taking that jibe at Uddhav Thackeray over the alliance with the NCP and Congress. Furthermore, he said that it's not 35 MLAs with me, I have 40 MLAs with me. Listen to what Shinde said.
40 MLAs अभी यहाँ मौजूद है और सभी लोग जो है हम बाला साहब ठाकरे जी का जो हिंदुत्व है इस और उनकी जो भूमिका है उसको हम लोग आगे ले जाना चाहते हैं। शिवसेना के 40 MLAs अभी यहाँ मौजूद है और सभी लोग जो है हम बाला साहब ठाकरे जी का जो हिंदुत्व है इस और उनकी जो भूमिका है उसको हम लोग आगे ले जाना चाहते हैं।
So what's the BJP making of all of these developments? Let's get him Paras Dama on that. He is outside Devendra Fadnavis' residence. Paras, we understand that Devendra Fadnavis is back in Mumbai. Can you confirm that for us, one? Second, what is the BJP going to do about this? Because Uddhav Thackeray has said very clearly that I will not tie up with the BJP. Eknath Shinde put forth that particular ultimatum. That's been rejected by Uddhav so far.
So, of course, Devendra Fadnavis, the leader of opposition, was in Delhi yesterday and today. Late evening, yesterday, he came back to his residence and there was an important meeting taken with the senior leaders of BJP. They are strategizing something. They are planning something because Eknath Shinde is the key man right now who can just make some big changes in Maharashtra politics. So, right now, we are at the Devendra Fadnavis residence in Mumbai, and yesterday night, Devendra Fadnavis came back from Delhi. He had an important meeting in Delhi, and after that he has taken a very important meeting in Mumbai with all the senior leaders of Bhajpa, Ashish Shelar, and all the big leaders in Maharashtra who came to this residence and had discussed some plan of action, what will happen today. So that's why, Akshita, I'm saying that today will be the most important day in Maharashtra politics because Bhajpa is planning something, and it will be most important thing because yesterday night Eknath Shinde and the rebels was moved to Guwahati, which is BJP ruled state. So right now the situation for Bhajpa is to strategize something, to plan something that can help them and make the Sarkar in Maharashtra again.
That's
so,
right.
On the other hand, Uddhav Thackeray has already rejected the proposal given by Eknath Shinde, but there will be some planning by Uddhav Thackeray and MVA government also because they are struggling. Because if this 40 MLAs will go on another side, this will be the disaster for MVA government in the situation which is right now they are in. So this is the most important day in Maharashtra politics. BJP on a hand, they have an upper hand, but MVA government is struggling, Akshita.
They're struggling. The BJP is going to hope that this works out and plays out to their advantage as well. What is the Shiv Sena going to do here? Interestingly, so far, they haven't distanced themselves from Eknath Shinde, referred to him as a traitor or anything like that. So they're still trying very, very hard to reach out to Eknath Shinde. Here's a conversation that we had with Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut on this revolt that his party is facing.
एकनाथ शिंदे ने ट्वीट करके कहा है कि वो बाला साहब के विचारों पर अड़े हुए हैं और सत्ता के लिए वो विचारों में परिवर्तन नहीं करेंगे। सीधा सीधा उद्धव ठाकरे को चैलेंज वो कर रहे हैं। जिस तरीके से बीजेपी का कहना होता है कि हिंदुत्व को छोड़ दिया,
पार्टी को चैलेंज कोई नहीं कर सकता। एकनाथ शिंदे जी हमारे मित्र हैं, एकनाथ शिंदे जी हमारे साथी हैं। हमने बहुत साल एक साथ एक दूसरे के साथ हमारा काम करने का अनुभव है, संबंध है। पार्टी में उनका योगदान भी है, जरूर मैं मानता हूं, लेकिन ये जो कदम उठाया है, देखो उनको सब कुछ पार्टी ने दिया है। मैं हूं, एकनाथ शिंदे हो और कोई हो, अगर पार्टी नहीं होती तो हम क्या होते, हमारी पहचान क्या होती। बालासाहेब ठाकरे जाने के बाद उद्धव ठाकरे जी के नेतृत्व में जो पार्टी है, यही पार्टी ने उनको मंत्री बनाया 2 बार, वो भी बड़े बड़े पोर्टफोलियो दिए हैं, ये भूल नहीं सकते हम। तो ये पार्टी बालासाहेब ठाकरे की, ये पार्टी उद्धव ठाकरे की, ये बयान गलत है। पार्टी पार्टी होती है, बालासाहेब जी के पास साथ उद्धव ठाकरे जी पार्टी का लीडरशिप कर रहे हैं।
क्या उनको वापस पार्टी में लाने की कोशिश की जाएगी या उनको पार्टी से निकाल दिया जाएगा? अब तक हमने देखा हुआ है नारायण राणे को पार्टी से निकाल दिया गया था, छगन भुजबल को पार्टी से निकाल दिया गया था। क्या एकनाथ शिंदे को पार्टी में शामिल कर लिया जाएगा अगर वो वापस आते कि उनको
उनके ऊपर कोई एक्शन नहीं ली है, लेकिन जरूर उनके साथ जो मंत्री है अभी जल्द ही उनको उनका मंत्री पद वो खो सकते हैं।
एकनाथ शिंदे अपना मंत्री पद नहीं
खोएंगे। आज 1-2 दिन में, आज 24 घंटे में क्या होता है देख, लेकिन जो एक्शन लेना है वो ले लेंगे। वहां विधायक का उनको मन में डर है। जो खेल चल रहा है, अगर वो खेल चलता रहा तो वहां बाई इलेक्शन हो जाएगी, फिर चुनाव हो जाएगा, वापस चुनाव लड़ना पड़ेगा। इसलिए विधायक डर गए हैं जो सूरत में बैठे हो।
So that is the comment that was made by Sanjay Raut. On your screens are the images that we've accessed also from inside the Surat resort. This is a show of strength by, in fact, the rebel MLAs, all of whom had gathered, 35 of them. We've counted the number there for you. And there are 35 MLAs who are currently there, who were at the Surat resort. Eknath Shinde has said that that number has grown to 40. If that is true, it means that there are 5 MLAs either currently sitting in Maharashtra extending support to Eknath Shinde, or some flew down from Maharashtra to Guwahati. Paras Dama is live with us with all the details of that as well. So Paras, as in fact we're putting out these images of the MLAs, the rebels who are with Eknath Shinde, you know, he claims that it's 40. What you see on our screens is 35. Are there some MLAs who are currently camped in Maharashtra who are also siding with Eknath Shinde?
Probably that can be the main thing right now, because if Eknath Shinde is claiming that he have 40 MLAs, there can be something in this. So if some rebels are in Maharashtra right now, they will be also moving to Guwahati if they are. So right now the situation in Maharashtra is very tense, because MVA government is likely like falling. But Eknath Shinde has a power right now, because he's saying he has 40 MLAs. So there are some of the MLAs which can support Eknath Shinde, because his right now he is saying that he is following the thing given by Balasaheb Thackeray, the Hindutva given by Balasaheb Thackeray. He is not in favor of MVA government, especially NCP. He has some problems. He has something that he wanted to discuss, but he was not heard in the past. So that situation has created a hostile situation was created inside, and that was the thing. Eknath Shinde become a rebel. So right now situation is in Maharashtra is very tense, and it may happen that some other MLAs also can join Eknath Shinde, because he is fighting for the Hindutva thing. And Shiv Sena was all about Hindutva when they joined hands with NCP and Congress. The Hindutva mudda was also been light up by Bharatiya Janata Party, that it was the Hindutva followed by Balasaheb Thackeray, or this is Uddhav Thackeray's Hindutva. So right now Eknath Shinde is also following the same step, and he is saying that Uddhav Thackeray's Hindutva is different, and we will follow only Balasaheb Thackeray's Hindutva. So I think this can light up some other MLAs also, and if it happens, then it will be a big disaster for MVA government and Uddhav Thackeray Sarkar. Akshita.
True, but let's play out what these rebel MLAs have said so far. Paras, as you continue to report for us, India Today has been trying to reach out to those 35 rebels you see on your screens. 35 of them who made their way from Surat to Guwahati. India Today caught up with them at the Guwahati airport, and here's what they had to say about this rebellion that they're a part of. So we're going to be playing out that reaction for you in just a few moments. We've also, in fact, numbered the number of MLAs there. 35 of them at Surat Resort. Eknath Shinde in Guwahati claims that he has 40 of them.
नहीं कुछ नहीं, हम तो शिव सैनिक है भाई। आपको मालूम पड़ जाएगा कुछ समय में।
संख्या तो बता दीजिए। 8 दिन यहाँ पे 8 दिन, और उसके बाद मुंबई में क्या राज्यपाल के पास सीधे? हाँ सीधे राज्यपाल के पास।
All right, let's also get you the big breaking update that's coming in right now. We're hearing that there could be another Shiv Sena MLA who is expected to reach Guwahati shortly. Shiv Sena MLA Yogesh Kadam is likely to reach Guwahati shortly. He's the son of Ramdas Kadam. Ramdas Kadam, remember, was the environment minister during the Fadnavis-led government between 2014 and 2019. Now, his son, Shiv Sena MLA Yogesh Kadam, could also be a part of this rebellion. What this means is that the numbers, again, are climbing up. Is Eknath Shinde right when he says that he has 40 MLAs on his side? And is there a likelihood that there could be more such MLAs making their way from Mumbai to Guwahati now? 35 of them have flown in from Surat. But could there be more joining that particular count is the question. Paras, any information we're able to pick up on more MLAs perhaps leaving and making their way to Guwahati? We're hearing now that Sena MLA Yogesh Kadam is set to join this rebellion group, set to side with Eknath Shinde.
There is no official confirmation on it right now, Akshita, but sources are telling that this will happen, and this has already happened. Yogesh Kadam will be flown to Guwahati, and this will be the big blow to Sarkar, Sena Sarkar, because the numbers which are rising every hour of MLA and in support of Eknath Shinde will be a big disaster for MVA government and Uddhav Sarkar. So right now the sources are saying that Yogesh Kadam will be joining the Guwahati rebel camp, and he will be flown from Mumbai to Guwahati. So it will be the most major day in Maharashtra politics. If people are supporting Eknath Shinde, there must be some reason behind it, because we are hearing from last so many days, last 15-20 days has been the most difficult days for MVA government, because first they lost Rajya Sabha and after that they lost MLC elections. So there were some dispute between Sena and Eknath Shinde. There were some topics that was discussed also, but it was not came into the light. But Eknath Shinde was not happy with the situation which was created inside the MVA government. Eknath Shinde has never supported NCP, but when this whole government was formed, it was like it will happen. But the situation right now is very tense. If number will increase like that, it can be a disaster for MVA government. Akshita.
Very, very true. The information we're picking up now, exclusive India Today news break, that there could be another Shiv Sena MLA, Yogesh Kadam, who now makes his way to Guwahati. He's the son of Ramdas Kadam, who's with the BJP. So this will come as a huge, huge setback for Uddhav Thackeray. It means that even in Mumbai, he doesn't have his flock together. Let's in fact play out for you a conversation that we had exclusively with an independent MLA, Bachu Kadu, who is with, in fact, the rebel camp. He serves as an MOS in the Uddhav government, and he says that we have no problem with Uddhav Thackeray. Our problem is with the alliance that Shiv Sena has with NCP and Congress. Here's that conversation.
शिंदे के साथ बागी विधायकों का दल इस वक्त गुवाहाटी में है, क्या रणनीति आगे की?
निर्दल नहीं है, हमारी तहार की पार्टी है, तहार, और मैं और हमारे साथ एक और विधायक है, और अभी तक 40 तो हो गए और बढ़ेंगे, 10 तक और बढ़ेंगे, 50 हो जाएंगे।
तो सर आप ये बड़ा दावा कर रहे हैं कि ये संख्या 50 हो जाएगी, क्योंकि कल 20 से 34 से लेकर के आज 40 का दावा एकनाथ शिंदे ने खुद किया है, और आप कह रहे हैं कि ये संख्या 50 भी हो सकती है।
हाँ, 50।
तो अब आगे की रणनीति क्या है सर, इसके बारे में भी अगर आप हमारे दर्शकों को बता दें।
अभी क्या, अभी बस अभी सत्ता प्रस्तावित करना है, सत्ता की तरफ जाना है।
तो बच्चों जी, गुवाहाटी में अब और कितने दिन?
गुवाहाटी में कितने दिन ये नहीं बता सकते हम, वो तो आज भी निकल सकते हैं, कल भी जा सकते हैं।
लेकिन बगावत की वजह क्या है, ये भी दर्शक समझना चाहते हैं।
ठीक है, ओके, चलो, और कुछ?
जी, बगावत की वजह भी समझना चाहते हैं, आखिर एकनाथ शिंदे बगावत पर क्यों उतरे?
वो तो सब बताएंगे ना, अभी फोन पर क्यों इतने बताएंगे।
So that's the conversation that we have with the independent MLA. He's saying that it's not going to stop at 40. We'll have 50 MLAs with us very, very soon. Big, big claim this. It means that there's a lot more discontent within the Shiv Sena, and these MLAs, one by one, could just ditch the party if we go by what this MLA told us. Paras, the information we're picking up is that another Shiv Sena MLA, Yogesh Kadam, could very well reach Guwahati soon. Now it comes down to another factor that we have to keep in mind here. Uddhav Thackeray has already packed off his MLAs to a hotel in Mumbai, in Lower Parade. We're being told they're all currently camped at the St. Regis Hotel. Are all MLAs there? Because if the likes of Yogesh Kadam are set to move to Guwahati, it means that there could be more such legislators who are not showing their faith in Uddhav Thackeray, who are not at that hotel.
Yesterday, Akshita, what happened, Uddhav Thackeray called for a meeting, and in the meeting there were not so many MLAs who attended the meeting. So that was the major blow for Uddhav Thackeray, because it is showing that they are not supporting Uddhav Thackeray fully. So that was the reason MLA was kept in a hotel in Mumbai, in Lower Parel, over there. So now what we are getting, what we are sensing right now, it will be very difficult, because if we talk about Eknath Shinde is the most trusted man for Shiv Sena. He is the MLA who he was the person in 2019 where there was a political mess, and he conveyed and he just blow everything away from the opposition party, because he was the man who coordinated all the things. He put all the MLAs into hotels, and he convinced all the MLAs to vote and to stay back with Shiv Sena and MVA government. So you can just think that how much support Eknath Shinde will be getting from the Sena, because he is fighting on Balasaheb Hindutva. Balasaheb was a person who trusted Eknath Shinde like anything. He was the most trusted man for Eknath Shinde. For Balasaheb Thackeray, Eknath Shinde was the most trusted man. So this is the major reason that Shiv Sena MLAs is going to Eknath Shinde, and it will happen. And probably other MLAs also can go to Eknath Shinde for help, because this is going in a very different way. This is this Maharashtra politics will probably on a urge of change right now. So we can sense that there must be some more MLAs who will just join the rebel camp soon. Akshita.
Okay, Paras, stay on with us, as in fact we're tracking all the latest updates that are coming in on this. Remember that all the rebels have moved now from Surat to Guwahati. Add to that is the fact that it looks like there could be more MLAs who are currently based in Mumbai actually leaving and making their way to Guwahati to express their support to the Eknath Shinde. What this essentially highlights is there is a lot of distrust. There is a serious problem that Shiv Sena MLAs have with Uddhav Thackeray's leadership. Many of whom we've spoken to have said, look, it's not against Uddhav Thackeray, it's against his decision of allying with the NCP and the Congress that we have a problem with. And that's why we're joining hands with Eknath Shinde. The Shiv Sena clearly did not see this coming. They've been completely taken aback by the storm that's hit them out of the blue, according to them. But Eknath Shinde, being such a senior leader and staging this entire coup, will lead to questions of how the Shiv Sena didn't see this coming. Big breaking news that's coming in. The Shiv Sena mouthpiece is taking on the BJP in the Samna. The Shiv Sena has said that BJP's Operation Kamala will not succeed in Maharashtra, and they've taken on the BJP for this upheaval, pinning the blame squarely on the Saffron party. Essentially, in their mouthpiece Samna, the Shiv Sena says that the BJP has never missed an opportunity to try and topple our government. They're using money power to try and again remove us from power, but it will not work. What's interesting to note here in this entire comment that's been made by the Shiv Sena is not once have they actually criticized Eknath Shinde. So they're still hopeful that he'll join back into the party fold. They haven't criticized Eknath Shinde even once. Instead, squarely pinned the blame on the BJP, saying that the Bharatiya Janata Party's Operation Kamala is up in action again. But it will not work this time either in Maharashtra. The reality is they're not given any details in this lengthy article about what they're doing to keep their flock together. They're blaming the BJP, yes, but the reality is that there's serious challenges that Uddhav Thackeray currently faces, and it's clear that many of the MLAs don't trust him, do not trust this alliance that the Shiv Sena has with the NCP and the Congress. That's what Eknath Shinde has also highlighted. He's spoken about the fact that Balasaheb Thackeray's Hindutva ideology is something that he is carrying forward, and with that subtle jibe that Uddhav Thackeray isn't doing that. So that is what's led to a lot of discontent among MLAs. So as much as Shiv Sena blames the BJP, the reality is that they have a lot of dialogue that they need to engage in with their own legislators, many of whom are now expressing their unhappiness, their discontent, their dissatisfaction with the Shiv Sena leadership out in the open. But the Shiv Sena choosing to blame the BJP and saying that this is another attempt at Operation Kamala which will not succeed in Maharashtra. The reality is that in the last few hours, there's been one setback after another for Uddhav Thackeray, for the Shiv Sena. So how really will they ensure that Operation Kamala, if it's in effect, is not going to be successful this time? Because with every passing hour, we're getting more and more news and updates of another MLA, of another Shiv Sena leader, dumping the party and choosing to join the Eknath Shinde camp, choosing to join this rebellion against Uddhav Thackeray, against Shiv Sena. Paras Dhama is joining us with more details on this. So Paras, the Shiv Sena there lashing out at the BJP in their mouthpiece. No mention of Eknath Shinde, not one word of criticism for Shinde.
Yeah, of course, we had also seen the interview yesterday. Sanjay Raut was not targeting Eknath Shinde. He said that he's like a family and we will try to get him back. But the situation in Maharashtra is created, very hostile situation is there, and in between, in the article, there is no mention of Eknath Shinde. It seems like that they still want to try get back Eknath Shinde to their party, because Eknath Shinde plays a key role in the party, because he is the most trusted man. He is a man with power. He has everything which can make a very good party. So they will try to convince Eknath Shinde again. Yesterday, Eknath Shinde spoken with CM Uddhav Thackeray, but conclusively nothing came out. But the situation right now in Maharashtra is very hostile. So that's why Shiv Sena is continuously targeting Bharatiya Janata Party, that they are playing some games and they are just probably playing some games, and they had just taken Eknath Shinde into their side. But the situation is not like that. It's very hostile, and the main point, they are Shiv Sena is not targeting Eknath Shinde. There is nothing in the article which says what Eknath Shinde has done. They are trying to get Eknath Shinde back into their side, so that will be the main point today also, when Uddhav Thackeray will take meeting, and this will be discussed in the meeting, that how to regain the trust of Eknath Shinde, because Eknath Shinde is a very key person. I am saying this probably because he was the most trusted man. He was second in command of Uddhav Thackeray also.
Bharat, stay with me. Big breaking news that's coming in. Before these MLAs, these rebel MLAs actually reached the hotel in Guwahati, Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma visited this very hotel in the morning. He was there at about 5:30 in the morning, left before the MLAs reached there. Again, more and more hints that the BJP is very much involved in all that's playing out right now with regards to the Shinde rebellion. The Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma looks like he was at the resort to take stock of the kind of preparations, to take stock of the security arrangements on ground. He was there early this morning before the MLAs touched down at that particular hotel. Anupam Mishra is joining us live with more details on this. Anupam, this is huge. Some details suggested there was a BJP MLA waiting at the Guwahati airport, and Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma didn't meet with these MLAs, but he was there before they reached at Radisson Blu.
Yes, of course, Himanta Biswa Sarma, the Chief Minister of Assam, was inside this hotel Radisson Blu, where the rebel MLAs were kept inside. He was seen coming out from this hotel at around 5:30 a.m. in the morning, and according to sources, he entered, he checked in the night itself in the hotel. So what it looks like that he went inside to take stock of the preparation where MLAs will be kept, their rooms, their facilities, which we are getting from sources. So this is the latest update, which I'm reiterating, that Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma was seen coming out from this hotel at around 5:30 a.m. in the morning. So it is clear that Himanta Biswa Sarma was there inside the hotel where rebel BJP MLAs were kept inside at present.
We're going to be playing out the sequence of the Chief Minister's vehicle, his convoy, leaving from the hotel at Radisson Blu in Guwahati in just a few moments from now. That confirms that the Chief Minister was there. What you're telling us, Anupam, is that the Chief Minister actually stayed there overnight. This is most definitely not a coincidence. It's clear that he was there and left just before the MLAs reached.
Exactly. In fact, Himanta Biswa Sarma was seen visiting relief camps yesterday in Assam, which were flood affected, and he came to Guwahati last night, and according to sources, he checked in inside this hotel at night itself, and he was seen coming out. He was captured coming out of this hotel at around 5:30 a.m. in the morning. So it is obvious that he did not want to be seen present there inside the hotel, but he was captured when he was coming out from this hotel, and it seems that he went inside to look after, to see the arrangements which were made for these rebel MLAs. They have been kept inside, and the process which will start is like that. What we are getting, that they will try to contact Governor of Maharashtra. They will ask time from Governor of Maharashtra, and if Governor agrees, sets the time, they will be taken to Maharashtra. This is what also we are getting from the sources, but it is not yet confirmed. This is just the source information which I am giving it to you. Akshita.
I can see also behind you, Anupam, the kind of security that's been put up outside Radisson Blu. Every vehicle that's making its way inside the hotel right now is being checked very carefully before being allowed inside. Officials are being allowed in and no one else. This is to ensure that nobody can get in touch with the rebel MLAs. We have a sequence that we're going to be playing out for you shortly of Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma leaving from that hotel in Guwahati. He stayed there overnight, left at about 5:30 this morning, just before the rebel MLAs reached. And this is no coincidence. There's going to be a lot of talk about the fact that the Assam Chief Minister was there just a few moments before the rebel MLAs actually reached. All of this will set off tongues wagging that the BJP is involved in this, that this is a result of Operation Kamla, which is what the Shiv Sena has been saying time and again. In their latest editorial also, they've said that the BJP is to blame for all that's playing out right now in Maharashtra, that they're the ones staging this elaborate coup against the Maha Agadi. So Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma was there at Radisson Blu, left at about 5:30 this morning, and moments later, almost 30 to 45 minutes later, these MLAs were seen making their way inside the exact same hotel. The Chief Minister was checked in there, stayed the night there. Essentially, it looks like to take stock of the kind of security arrangements made inside the hotel and to ensure that the hotel was entirely cleared off so that these MLAs could stay there, could have privacy, and that no other political party could actually reach out to them. And that by itself shows how the BJP perhaps is also not taking any chances, Anupam, that the Chief Minister himself was staying at this hotel before the rebel MLAs reached.
Yes, Akshita, as you said, this is not just a coincidence that Himanta Biswa Sarma, who was visiting, touring the flood-affected areas yesterday, suddenly came inside this hotel. And why this hotel? He could have gone to any other hotel. But this is not a coincidence, because BJP, the rebel Shiv Sena MLAs were kept inside this hotel, and it seems that he went inside to check, to see, to take stock of the preparation of this hotel, and to ensure that no one will be allowed to meet them, to secure that no one will be allowed to walk outside and to meet anyone, because there will be efforts from Shiv Sena, there will be efforts from Congress to reach out to these rebel MLAs, to make contact to these rebel MLAs, and this is what BJP is trying to negate at this time. And this action of Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma clearly tells that BJP is directly involved in this operation, and BJP, the Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma coming out of this hotel in the morning is not just a coincidence.
Anupam, do you know about any arrangements being made right now at the Guwahati airport for more MLAs to come in? Because there are some reports suggesting right now that there are MLAs, Shiv Sena MLAs from Mumbai who are going to be flying down to Guwahati to join Eknath Shinde.
Akshita, there's a very hush-hush thing inside the hotel. The news, any information is not coming out, and this is what the security arrangement is made for, because no one is allowed to enter inside to take the situation out, to take the stock of preparations.
चालत नाही. एका विशिष्ट परिस्थितीमध्ये आपल्याला भाजपपासून दूर व्हावं लागतं. 25 वर्षाची आमची युती ज्या परिस्थितीत तुटली आणि तोडावी लागली, दूर जावं लागलं, त्याची कारणं ही एकनाथ शिंदेना माहीत आहेत. एकनाथ शिंदे सुद्धा त्या संपूर्ण परिस्थितीचे साक्षीदार आहेत.
Okay, so we'll get your reaction that's coming in right now from the Shiv Sena, from Sanjay Raut. I again want to highlight here for you that the Shiv Sena, not at any point so far, has criticized Eknath Shinde. They've reserved all of their criticism for the BJP. The Bharatiya Janata Party right now is ensuring that they seal the entire rebellion drama, that they ensure that there is no way that the Shiv Sena can actually reach out to any of these rebels. So much so that the Assam Chief Minister, Himanta Biswa Sarma, was personally involved in checking the security arrangements being made at Radisson Blu. On your screens on the right there are the images that we've accessed exclusively here on India Today of the Chief Minister's convoy, of the Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma making his way out of Radisson Blu. He stayed the night at this particular hotel, the very same hotel where the rebel MLAs are currently camped. That, viewers, is no coincidence. It's clear that the BJP here is taking no chances. They have not put out any of their emissaries. They've directly sent Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma to check and ensure everything is in place in Guwahati. And remind you, these rebel MLAs have moved from one BJP-ruled state to another, from Gujarat to Assam. All of this is leading to the Shiv Sena saying that this is a rebellion, this is a coup that's directly being orchestrated by the BJP right now. And the Shiv Sena maintaining that this elaborate attempt at ensuring that the Maha Aghadi comes out of power will fail yet again. The reality is that the Shiv Sena has not given any details of how they plan to reach out to their own legislators, who one by one seem to be joining hands with Eknath Shinde. Shinde claims that he has the support of 40 MLAs right now. We've told you about how in Surat there were 35 MLAs counting down with that photo op that they put out. But the information that's trickling in right now is that there are a handful of MLAs who very soon could in fact move from Mumbai and make their way to Assam. Pankaj Upadhyay is live with us with more details on this. Pankaj, get us details of what's happening in Maharashtra. We're picking up information that there could be more Shiv Sena MLAs dumping Uddhav Thackeray and making their way to Guwahati. Are all MLAs currently at that hotel where Uddhav has tried to keep them together, or are there only a handful of them who are loyal right now to Uddhav?
Well, this is a big crisis for Shiv Sena in Maharashtra, and many people are saying perhaps this is the biggest crisis that Shiv Sena is facing ever since the death of Balasaheb Thackeray. Now, as far as the Eknath Shinde camp is concerned, they maintain that they have the support of more than 40 MLAs at this point of time. But as far as the Shiv Sena in Mumbai is concerned, they maintain that barring the rebel MLAs, they have the support of the rest of the Sena MLAs. In fact, the Shiv Sena goes on to the extent of saying that they have at least 22 MLAs in Mumbai. And last evening we saw how the MLAs were put in a 5-star hotel in Mumbai. But things are changing as we speak. The rebel campaign maintains that there are many more MLAs who will be marching in the hours and the days ahead to Guwahati. So this is a situation which is developing at this point of time. There is no confirmation from the Sena side here in Mumbai whether more MLAs have rebelled and marched to Guwahati. We are right now outside Sanjay Raut's place, the chief spokesperson of Shiv Sena, and he has been maintaining that the crisis will be averted because the Shiv Sainiks are in touch with Eknath Shinde. But with the kind of developments that we've seen overnight and yesterday, it seems highly unlikely because Eknath Shinde, as it were, has given an ultimatum to Uddhav Thackeray at this point of time that if he were to align with the BJP, Shiv Sena can be saved. If not, then perhaps there is going to be a big breakup, and they are good, and the cracks are already visible. Importantly, he has also said that he does not want to leave Shiv Sena, that he does not aspire to be the chief minister as well. But he wants to align with, the party needs to align with the BJP following the policy of Hindutva, and he attributes the Hindutva tone to Balasaheb Thackeray. He says that he's learnt his Hindutva from Balasaheb Thackeray, and he cannot, and he no longer can align with the Congress party and the NCP, primarily giving the reason that all those MLAs who fought in the various constituencies and against the Congress and the NCP are now having problems in the various constituencies, and the Sena in the days to come is going to see a massive erosion of the vote bank if it continues to align with these parties.